Can they get a victory here to bump up that Assault win rate? Of course, also go 6-0 on the season so far.
You know, in a lot of ways, a less impressive victory it would be than Stormquake's victory over MVP Space earlier. We have to, you know, I think a lot of people forget that in the round of 8. I think people think it's like, oh, they randomly faced KongDoo, so unlucky for KongDoo. But no, it's actually seeded, right? So
yeah, KongDoo put themselves in this position.
Exactly. So that's why they have this tough opponent in the first round.
And this is such a risky place to be in as well, because RunAway is defending first. If this is a full hold, it could be a one-tick push to go ahead and just close everything out with the fastest day that we have probably ever had.
Yeah, potentially.
Been live for about, you know, 2.5 hours.
Achilles, we usually don't get one-sided playoff matches here in Contenders Korea. It doesn't happen too often.
Yeah.
So. Remember, this we're talking about, I mentioned it earlier, a 21 map differential between these two teams.
Absolutely
quite high.
Huge. Well, here we go, up into the choke. KongDoo Panthera, how do they go with this approach?
A little bit more passive for True this time. Speed boost hidden here, a little bit wonky how they approach that one.
Ooh, Selly, a lot of damage, does manage to survive.
I think the idea there was to make it look like they weren't speed boosting it and then they suddenly come around the corner, but it didn't work out.
No, it did not, True. As soon as he inches forward, just gets beaten and battered. Panthera. Again, they're holding on to their lives. They're barely managing to survive here, but it's forcing them back out of the choke. Now, go ahead, start pushing their way up. In the ground there, Selly just managed to find one. Pin's gonna be coming down, gets the Punisher onto the Zarya. Mag under some fire, trying to stay alive. Puts his way around the corner, does manage to pop back up here very slowly. That's gonna be KongDoo halted again.
You know, one of the other things to keep in mind too when we compare these Ryan's playstyles is because Mag very rarely gets Shvi's armor, it means that Gangnam Jin has constantly got Orb of Harmony on him, and that is going to build a faster trance a lot of the time. In this case, slightly faster. Just something else to think about.
Yeah, Riley gonna be coming out, Choi Se-won, opening things for his squad with that as they try to make their way over onto the point. True. Tagged up again, getting closer to that Shatter. Grab's gonna be coming down, Shatter thrown in as well. Looking for the pin now, Selly. Gonna take the hit, goes low, but the Transcendence from Shine will go ahead and top him back up. Meanwhile, RunAway still holding on to both of their defensive ultimates. Now Gangnam Jin gonna be using the Transcendence. Bomb in on the point, QOQ looking for a pick. Not gonna find anything, breaks the shield of True. He tries to work his way back, but Isu just beams him down. Mag is already about halfway to that next Shatter. It's the swing, hits Selly, takes him out, the team wipe, getting ready to come in.
Mag is just, I mean, every time you see him get a charge, I think the impression of Mag from a lot of the Western fans is that he's one of the most aggressive Reinhardt players in Korea. That's not actually true. When you see him go, and no pun intended here, but because he is one of the more aggressive ones, but when you see him get these charge kills, it's like he's doing it when it's guaranteed, when he can't miss, when it's going to be a kill no matter what.
Shatter coming down from True, gonna be able to find anything, already one ult gone. Kleston, I mean, this might hit a point where Kleston maybe has to try to just open things up with the bomb if they can't get the grab off. QOQ has already denied so many away. Sally slams one down, they answer back. Sally, the first one to get picked off. Gangnam Jin coming up to kill the sound barrier. Not gonna save them. Kleston does manage to find QOQ. Mag is gonna be dragged. Did he take it off the side of the map? True will be eliminated, but Mag gone.
They need more kills than this. So I think,
yeah, they need to try to convert this into something.
I think if they had committed in and had Selly with high energy, maybe there's a chance that if he can compete with Hisu, which he cannot, as you can see here at 70 plus energy, they could convert that to a cap or at least a tick, but they have to wait for the respawn, unfortunately.
Push their way in onto the point here. 50 seconds remaining. The first tick getting ready to come in. This man goes and pushes forward. Shatter going to be looking pretty darn good. Now going for the pin. Manages to find Shine, however. The Transcendence still up. Will not be able to find that kill. QOQ going to be taken down by Choi Se-won, so no Diva in the fight. Selly, however, very far away from the Graviton Surge. So you don't necessarily need the Diva to try to deny that. Now Grab out from Hisu, locks them in. Shatter's out from True, not going to find anything, and they instantly scoop up 4 as Kleston gets popped out. Hoop over to the side. Selly will be burned down. Kleston goes off the back end.
I mean, Mag goes. I could break the team fight down 3 times. He goes behind the Zen, knocks him out of the fight with the charge. Yes, he doesn't kill him because somebody pulls the Trance away from the rest of the teammates. They don't get a kill in that moment, but yet he's set up for a follow-up Shatter. It's insane. He's just there for the grab. This team just got the best energy we've seen in Contenders Korea.
Also tries to push his way into the back, force out the OT, does get taken down, but he does manage to tag the point very briefly. Boop off, they pop him out, and they cannot make it in. RunAway is one tick away from closing this out with one of the cleanest 3-0s that we have ever seen.
Mag finally showing some signs of hype over here on the stage. That was a very dominant performance from him on the Rhine. It's a style of play that this team shows, this 6-man roster. There's a punish-oriented style. Everyone is always ready to jump on any mistake you make. They're not taking chances, they're not taking risks, because why take risks when you could systematically break down every single mistake your opponent is making and punish it? The charge kills we're seeing from Mag are not long distance, kind of blind. I think this is where the Zarya is standing. I'm going in. It's, oh, he got stunned by Shui. I guarantee kill him. My charge is not on cooldown because I waited for this moment and I'm getting this kill. I waited for this opportunity. And I don't want to make it seem like they're an opportunistic team that couldn't do anything on their own, couldn't be aggressive, because that's not true either. But that's the difference in play style here in general between RunAway and KongDoo Panthera. And when we do see the aggressive style come through from True, the enemy Reinhardt, it is a bad matchup against RunAway's style because they just catch him every time, pick him off early. So then he's not playing to his strengths. If he decides to play the other way, they're already behind. It's a snowball effect, and these are the basic tenets of why this series is going so poorly for KongDoo Panthera. But we may have this first push succeed if they just make one of those small mistakes I'm talking about. KongDoo fans cheering in the crowd here for one last hope, but it seems unlikely.
Bubble up. He's still going to be saying thank you very much for the free charge. As they push their way through, KongDoo Panthera desperately need a fuller hold of a magnitude that we haven't really yet to see. Poking out Hisu, nearly at 90 energy. Right click's going to be building him up quite a lot of ult charge over here into the corner. True, a sliver of HP remaining. They're pushing forward, trying to finish him off. They can't quite get him. It's going to be QQ actually punished out of the mech. Selly manages to finally take off. It seems like RunAway will be held off for the moment. They're still playing forward out of the choke, but now we'll go ahead and kite back, rejoin.
And this is one of those moments where, you know, you do look at this and you do notice that RunAway is solo focused on True right now. He almost dies, but they commit so many resources to keep him alive that RunAway actually overextends there a little bit. You know, QOQ gets D-Mac, he's got very little ult charge.
For the pin, True able to match that one. Now they're looking for Mag. High energy for Selly. Ground pound surge going to be online. Slams it into the rock, locks him in. Gangnam Jin Transcendence is up. Will go ahead and mitigate the majority of that ult. Isu nearly with one of his own, and Shine has already gone ahead and used the Transcendence. Shatters out from Mag, locks him in. Selly going to be taken down. Now sound barrier out. True desperately trying to make it back here with the rest of the squad. Ground pound surge locks him in. The bomb not going to find anything, but Gangnam Jin comes up with a double. Clemson will go ahead and get popped out by the self-destruct. Gangnam Jin gets a third one as he eliminates Shine. RunAway are in onto the point, and they are in to the semifinals. They take the tick. They have punched their ticket forward into the round of 4. You'll find out who their opponent is tomorrow. We take a look at GC Busan Wave versus WGS Armament.
And this is the cleanest, most undefeated run RunAway has ever had to a top 4 of a Korean tournament. They are just on fire with this new roster. You know, how they will look in a different meta, where they need a hit scam player, or we need to see Genji, for example, you know, some sort of dive play. We don't know what that looks like. I don't know if we'll ever know what that looks like, at least not this season, because the meta's not going to change, the patch isn't going to change. We're already locked in on what we're going to see for the rest of the tournament. But we don't need to know how they're doing the meta, because in this meta, their passive style, their punish-based play, where they look for weaknesses in their opponent's approaches, works so well for them that they just defeat opponent after opponent after opponent. It wasn't an easy group, but they dropped 0 series. Was an easy first round opponent here, you could argue, when they have a 21 map differential between them. This is just step 1. It gets harder from here, but for RunAway, I don't think you're worried about your next round. I don't think you're worried about the semis. You've already got your eyes on the trophy. That title, you want that back-to-back title. You want to be the team that follows in the original RunAway roster, the OG roster. You want to follow in their footsteps. Say, this is, I'm representing this, you know, this region. I'm representing Korea, but I'm also representing RunAway in the best way possible.
Fantastically done from them. The teams will come out take their bows for RunAway. This is one of a few remaining in the season we would expect. Unless they get taken down in the semis from KongDoo Panthera, this is the end of the line for Season 3.
It's really reminiscent to Season 1 KongDoo Panthera, you know, of not of Apex, but of Contenders, right?
Yes.
So, you know, like kind of like our 5th season of Create Overwatch. We're in our 7th now. We have to add the Apex history to this region of Contenders. But it's really reminiscent of Season 1 where they rebuilt a roster. Not that strong in the meta. At the end, in their playoffs, they looked okay. You know, they barely got into the round of 8. They had some moments there throughout the regular season, but they did okay in the round of 8. Fell, and that was the end. Then the meta shifted into their favor. Maybe we move into 2019 Season 1. Maybe it shifts again in their favor. But for now, yeah, this roster they built does not match up with the synergy and the understanding of the meta that RunAway's does.
Absolutely not. And, you know, we thought at the beginning of the season, we saw RunAway come out. They absolutely smashed Geekstar. We're like, oh, you know, they look so good for a team with this much synergy, but how good really is Geekstar? Turns out they were, you know,